She called 911, thought someone was trying to break in her home. Sonia Massey let the two responding officers in and asked them not to hurt her. You could tell that she was in mental distress.
Right. Okay. Okay. Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your fucking face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot! Drop it! No, we don't need a fire while we're here.
Alright.
Who's got tape? I think I got a roll. I got stuff coming up. I think it. Anything else suspect? Me.
Now, by now, I know everybody probably have seen the video, or at least I think they have. You know, we become numb to this kind of stuff lately. But go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. Just once again, one of these, tragic shootings that we want to just act like this stuff isn't going on, and I thought the body cams were supposed to be a way of protecting the police as well as the person that's actually the victim or whoever, to make sure everything was, legal and done appropriately. And here we clearly see something ain't right here. I mean, like, they just killed this woman in cold blood. I mean, as far as she was from them with that pot, I'm not a police officer, but I'm trying to figure out what threat, even if she would have thrown the hot water, he was so far away from her that the water would have not done any damage to him. So, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, as a regular citizen, like, where is the threat there? Where's the threat that warned him shooting her?
Yeah, I mean, this was an execution. This is an execution. We've discussed every narrative and we've discussed it all when it comes to these type of events. We've had so many of them. We've discussed at every type of angle we can look at it, from the cop's perspective, from the citizen's perspective, from the general public perspective. We've discussed all of that, man. And what's come of it? The same old thing. The same old thing. I mean, as black people, man, it comes a time when, there's gonna have to be some wrongdoing straightened out at some point.
Some law changes. Mm-hmm.
We need a hate crime bill. We need that passed, and we need to be compensated for all this stuff. We need to be compensated for this. It's just always funny where every time you turn on the TV, it's always, or at least 90% of the time, a white police officer shooting somebody black unarmed.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know what? I already know the talking points is finna come out. Oh, this doesn't happen all the time. And what about Chicago? We already know what the talking points finna be. And quite frankly, we tired of it, man.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, they are going to have to make right the wrongs. At some point. Unless at some point we're gonna have to force them to make the wrong right.
What's amazing to me is, if I'm looking at the body cam correctly, this says this happening on the 6th, and it's just making public notice now, that this was kept from the public for so long. Like, what's going on? Why? So now we're doing these things and we're hiding them from the public. So we don't know what's going on and what's being done to us. And I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't see not one black cop after the in the aftermath. There's like several cops, look like maybe 20 or 30 of them at this house after this woman was hurt. I don't see the ambulance. I don't see anything else, but I see about 20 cops that all appear to be white. Why? Please tell me why.
Because these police departments load up with these kind of guys, white guys mostly, on the police force, and the FBI has already came out and said the white supremacists have invaded the police departments around the United States. They've infiltrated, and a lot of these guys see, you know, when he went over to that call, when he went on to that call, I'm pretty sure. Or let's back up. When he woke up that morning, he didn't expect to go in and shoot somebody. He didn't expect to do that. When he went to that call, he didn't think he'd be leaving that call uh being indicted in the aftermath. He didn't expect that. But see, what happens is these guys, you know, if you've been around police departments, they're very clicky. Very, very, very clicky. It's clicks over here, clicks over there, and clicks over here. And everybody in the department know who the good cops is and the bad ones, or the good ones that the good ones that try not to be bad. Everybody know them. And see, within these cliques, they have these conversations. They're always talking about, hey, I'm gonna get me 90 days off, or whatever, or however many days you get off after you've been in a officer involved shooting. That's all they say. So if you tell yourself something long enough, eventually you're gonna start listening. See, he put it in his mind that, hey man, he been telling himself, I'm gonna blow somebody's head off one day. I'm gonna blow one of these ends head off one day. Cause I'm pretty sure this is the talk amongst a lot of them, and it happened. Now, you know, we see these videos all the time. Of course, we see these videos all the time. But are we gonna get a conviction? That's our question. That's the question. Are we gonna get a conviction? Because we know there's a 60-40, maybe even a 70-30 chance that dude won't even get convicted.
Well, I surely hope not. I hope he's convicted. You know, to me, there's no compensation to this family. I understand the woman had two children, you know, and just imagine these kids growing without their mom. You know, just you know the grief that the family must be going through right now, and you know my condolence to them. These poor kids that you know gotta spend the rest of their life knowing that how their mom was gruesomely murdered. You know, I just this is just way too much. It's almost like you have to find words to even express or talk about this in your platform, because it's just something that's just getting overwhelming. It leaves you with these horrible feelings. So it's not just affecting the people that it happens to, it affects you and it makes you fearful for your kids, for your life. So do I call the police when my life is threatening, or when I feel like something is going wrong, or somebody may be able to attack me? I don't know. Or do you take justice into your own home and have to go out and secure yourself? Because now it's almost like you got to be fearful of the police coming when they're paid to protect you and serve you. And they did no service to this woman whatsoever. And with two big cops, I don't understand how a pot of water made them feel so threatened.
It didn't. It didn't. That stems from you sitting around talking and telling yourself what you're gonna do to somebody, and you started listening. Because listen, I mean, I'm pretty sure, or maybe the call could have came in as a mental call, or he could have got there and just by his observation, he realized that she had a mental problem. Now, mental patients or mental people can be some of the most dangerous people. That's a very dangerous call right there. But in most circumstances, or in that circumstances, That woman was no threat at all. Even if she did have some hot water, that woman was standing way across the room. Way
And
across the room. Go ahead.
if you listen, you can hear the water being poured down the drain. So, like, at what point was that a threat to him, and how far he was away from her?
So in other words, the only threat, the only thing, the justifiable statement he can make is that the hot water could have caused me to be disarmed. That's the only thing. But like you say, was there even any hot water in the pot at that time? I mean, there's secondary levels of what is it? Man, what the word I'm looking for? Besides pulling out your sidearm.
Right.
It's second level. It's other use, like you have your taser, you have your
To
baton
disarm. Yeah.
to disarm the threat. And he went to deadly force because that's deadly force.
And even
Now,
when he said, she says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And he said, shut up or something to that effect before I shoot you in the head. And she said, all right, I'm going to be quiet. So at that point, there was no threat. She complied. She said, I'll be quiet.
see, and a lot of it, they think in their mind that they can shoot somebody and get away with it. That's why they
Yes.
keep happening. That's
No,
why
not
it keep
shoot.
happening.
Murder somebody and get away with it, because he did exactly what he said. He said, I'll shoot you in your face. And that's what he did.
Exactly. And
So he knew what he was going to do. He stated to her what he was going to do. Even when she said, all right, I comply, I hear you. He still decided to do it. At that time, there was no threat to him. He wasn't even close enough to her for it to be threatening. You mean to tell me that two big, strong police officers who are supposed to be protecting us could not defend themselves against a hot water pot and one little small lady?
Exactly. I mean, that's no excuse, because even if he would have got struck by the hot water, the other police were there that could have disarmed him. I mean, come on, man. And that's is far fetched right there. That's far fetched. If you at this call and the lady has a boiling hot water, I mean, the last thing you're gonna do is shoot her. I mean,
but even with that, he directed her to it. He said to
man,
her, we don't want a fire. So he directed her to the hot water. He could have said to his partner, won't you go turn off that pot while I talk to her to figure out what was wrong? They handled this in so many ways wrong, because if they saw the water as a threat, the other officer could have went and turned the water off and say he could have stayed there at the couch with the lady and say, I'm gonna stay here and talk to you, but so nothing gets on fire or burns, my partner is going to go and turn it off.
and even with that being said, listen, even with that being said, this is the big part of it. This is the biggest part. You call 911. If the lady holding the pot, just leave. How about you just leave? You call 911. The lady, you already went around the house. You already searching. You talking to her. She got a pot of water. It's boiling. How about you just back out the door, close the door, and say, ma'am, put the water down, and I come back inside. It's not like the lady had a boiling pot, a pot full of boiling hot water, about to throw it on a civilian. How about you just leave? Simple as that.
There's no way they can say this was justified. This man needs to be punished to the full extent. There's nothing else that is acceptable. Nothing else other than that is acceptable. He needs to be punished to the full extent of the law for murdering someone.
Well,
and based on his verbiage, I would consider it premeditated, because he says, I'm going to shoot you in the face.
Man, we already know. Now, we've been to sit back and see how they're going to all play out.
Yes, we're going to keep our eye on this story.
We already know.
Yeah, and it's just
Even with the
unfortunate
video.
that these relationships between officers and everyday citizens always seem to end in these kind of incidents. It's just
No,
awful.
it's mostly white officers, and it end up shooting black unarmed black men. That's what it all. That's the problem right there. That's the problem. And then they go, well, black on black crime. Well, y'all shoot each other. Yeah, we do shoot each other. And guess what happened to them people? They go to jail. They get life. Some of them get the death penalty. But guess what? When you shoot us, you get to go home.
I really even hate addressing these kind of things, but people need a place where they can vent, where they can talk about these things, where we can come up with solution and answers on how to move and how to protect yourself, because I mean, to be honest with you, as a citizen, I don't know if I would call the police. I'm almost feeling like, I need somebody to protect me. I need, Carly, you want to protect me? Because I need somebody to keep protecting me, because I'm afraid to call the police. I'm afraid.